Graceland, the estate of legendary singer Elvis Presley, is facing a legal battle now over a potential foreclosure sale.
For almost 50 years, Graceland has been more than just Elvis Presley's home. It's where fans from around the world come to remember the man who changed music forever. They walk through the mansion, see his famous outfits, and visit his grave. But one part of Graceland was always off-limits: the attic. It was locked and left untouched since the day Elvis died. Now, after 48 years, that attic has finally been opened, and what's inside is already changing the story we thought we knew. Why did the Presley family keep it closed for so long? What were they protecting? And what exactly was found up there? Join us as we uncover the secrets of the attic Elvis left behind. The day the music died. Before people started asking questions about the attic at Graceland, the world faced something much bigger. On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley died. He was only 42 years old. His death shocked millions of fans. For many, it felt like the end of an era. The man who changed music forever was suddenly gone, and the world went quiet. Right after the death of Elvis Presley, parts of Graceland were blocked off. One of those places was the attic. That small detail made fans curious. Why was it closed off so quickly, and what was inside? No one gave clear answers, and that made the mystery even bigger. So stay tuned, because we are about to solve that mystery. Elvis died in Memphis, Tennessee, in his own home. He had been dealing with health problems for years. While he still had a strong fan base, his personal life was becoming more difficult. He felt isolated. He was canceling shows, and he had started relying more and more on prescription drugs. The man who once lit up stages now mostly stayed hidden. On that morning, Elvis was found unconscious in his bathroom. He was rushed to the hospital, but doctors couldn't save him. The news of his death spread fast, and fans were heartbroken. Right after the autopsy, a team of doctors led by Dr. Eric Muirhead said they needed more time. They were waiting for toxicology reports to understand what really happened. But that same evening, another doctor stepped in. His name was Dr. Jerry Francisco. He hadn't been part of the autopsy, but he told the press that Elvis had died of a heart condition called cardiac arrhythmia. He also said it had nothing to do with drugs. This caused confusion. Some doctors disagreed with his statement. Still, the public accepted it for a little while. Then the toxicology results came out. They showed that Elvis had large amounts of prescription drugs in his system. Drugs like Dilaudid, Quaaludes, Demerol, and codeine, medications strong enough to affect anyone's body in serious ways. The results were shocking. Many people began to ask again, what really caused Elvis Presley's death? As questions grew, the focus turned to Elvis's doctor, George Nicopolis, also known as Dr. Nick. He had treated Elvis for years. During an investigation, it was revealed that Dr. Nick had given Elvis more than 8,000 doses of medication between 1975 and 1977. When the court asked him, why? Dr. Nick said he was trying to help. He believed that if he gave Elvis the drugs himself, he could control the situation and keep him safer than if Elvis went looking for drugs on his own. In the end, the jury believed him. He was not found guilty at that time. Still, people kept talking. In 1980, Dr. Nick faced more charges for giving out too many prescriptions, not just to Elvis, but to other musicians too. Once again, he was found not guilty. But in 1995, his medical license was taken away for good. Many people still believe the medications played a big part in Elvis's death. But in 2025, a new idea came forward. Author Sally A. Hodel shared a different theory in an interview with The Mirror. She said Elvis may have had a serious heart condition that ran in his family. She believed Elvis wasn't ruined by addiction alone. She said he was in pain and was doing his best to manage it with the medical options he had at the time. It gave people a new way to think about Elvis's final years. But even with all the questions and rumors, most people were focused on one thing: grief. The world was mourning. On August 17th, just one day after his death, Graceland opened its gates to the public. Fans from all over came to say goodbye. About 100,000 people gathered. They stood in long lines, hoping for one last glimpse of the man who had changed music forever. The next day, Elvis was laid to rest. A beautiful and powerful funeral procession moved through the streets of Memphis. 17 white Cadillacs drove ahead of the hearse, carrying his body. The whole city seemed to stop. People watched silently. His closest family members, Priscilla Presley, his daughter Lisa Marie, his father Vernon, and his grandmother Minnie Mae, were there. So were famous friends like Anne Margaret, James Brown, and Sammy Davis Jr. It was a goodbye that matched the size of his legacy. At first, Elvis was buried next to his mother at Forest Hill Cemetery, but only a few days later, something shocking happened. Someone tried to break into his coffin. It was a heavy, steel-lined casket weighing 900 pounds. The people involved were caught, but they were only charged with trespassing. Even so, the Presley family didn't want to take any more chances. They had Elvis and his mother's remains moved back to Graceland. It was the place he loved most, and now it would be his forever home. But even while fans were grieving, one question kept coming up. What's in the attic? The door was closed, no one was allowed in, and no one explained why. Some people thought it held songs no one had ever heard. Others believed it had letters or answers about his final days. Wondering what really happened inside Graceland? Stick around. Introducing Graceland. Now, before we can truly understand the situation with the attic, we have to take a step back and look at how Elvis Presley came to own Graceland in the first place. Because everything that's happening now, every mystery, every hidden story, starts with how that famous house became his home. So in 1957, Elvis Presley was just 22 years old and already a rising star. That year, he bought a large, white-columned mansion just outside Memphis for $102,500. His parents, Vernon and Gladys Presley, put down the first payment of $1,000 and even moved in before Elvis himself. On June 26, 1957, Elvis officially made it his home. That price, just over $100,000 back then, would be worth more than $1,100,000 today. The purchase included the house, a barn, and nearly 14 acres of land. At the time, Graceland sat in a quiet rural part of Memphis, far away from the crowds and cameras. That's exactly what Elvis wanted, a private escape from fame. But Graceland quickly became more than just a home. It was his palace, his playground, and his sanctuary. The estate had everything: wide-open fields, stables with horses, and even a mischievous pet chimpanzee named Scatter. Elvis dressed the monkey in clothes and used him to pull off wild pranks on visitors. Sometimes, people wondered if Scatter was actually running the place. One of Elvis's favorite spots was the meditation garden, which he built in 1964. With its flowers, fountains, and tall white columns, it became a place for quiet and peace. Elvis would sit there for hours, thinking about life and the weight of being the king. Years later, that same garden would become his final resting place. But not everything at Graceland was made for sharing. After Elvis died in 1977, the entire second floor of the mansion, his private living space, including the bathroom where he was found, was sealed off. When Graceland opened to the public in 1982, that part stayed closed. Not even presidents or VIPs were allowed upstairs, and above that sealed-off second floor was the attic. No photos, no tours, no explanation, just silence. This made fans start asking questions like, what was so special about that attic that the Presley family acted like it didn't even exist? And why, after all these years, is it only now being opened? Now keep watching, because this is where things get really wild. In 2024, something happened that shook Elvis fans and shocked the city of Memphis. A company named Nosen Investments and Private Lending LLC tried to auction off Graceland. They claimed that Elvis's granddaughter Riley Keough Currie, who now manages the Presley estate, had failed to pay back a loan. People were shocked. How could Graceland, the most famous house in rock and roll, suddenly be in danger of being taken away? Riley acted fast. She filed a lawsuit saying the loan was fake and that someone had forged her signature. She said it was all part of a scam to steal her family's legacy. The case ended up in court just one day before the auction was set to happen. A Tennessee judge stopped the sale, calling Graceland a one-of-a-kind piece of American culture. He said losing it would cause real and permanent harm. Now, to make matters easier for Riley, no one from Nosen showed up to defend the claim. Riley's team didn't even need to argue. The sale was blocked, and Graceland was safe, for now. But the whole situation left people uneasy. What if the court hadn't stepped in? What if a private buyer had taken over Graceland? Would they have opened the attic? Would they have broken into whatever the Presley family worked so hard to keep hidden? Well, before anyone else could, the Presley family made a bold move. After 48 years, they opened the attic themselves, and what people found inside there will shock you. Don't go anywhere.